welcome to episode 402 of Good Luck High Five.
That's right. You're listening to a podcast that's for you if you play Magic the Gathering. Whether you're mad about Standard or you're mad about the Walking Dead Secret Lair, this show is for you.
Anger of all kinds. Welcome here on Good Luck High Five. That's actually the opposite of true. But whatever. Yeah. I'm one of your hosts, Maria.
I'm another one of your hosts, Megan.
And on today's show, I'm recording from home because I just got a COVID-19 test and we just want to be safe.
That's right. Maria was feeling a little under the weather, and so I made her not come in.
That is a good plan, everybody. And if that's true of you, do the same thing, please.
That's
for
right.
humanity.
Remember, it's not rude to tell people I will not see you until you have gotten a COVID-19 test.
And I swabbed my own self up the nose. It was a lovely experience.
Fun.
Getting all up in there. But yeah, I'm recording from home. Megan's at the office. I'm wearing these headphones. If you're watching the video version, you can see how enormous they are. Magic branded headphones.
They are comically large.
They're the size of my head. Each individual phone speaker, what are they on the side? Whatever they are, they're each the size of my head. And then there's my head in the middle. It is comical.
Yes. But Maria, why are you wearing those headphones?
Well, Megan, I'm wearing these because this weekend is the 2020 season grand finals.
That's right. So on this week's episode, we are talking about those upcoming season grand finals. What are you going to see? Who are you going to see? Which standard decks are going to make you the most angry?
I've got my own personal answer to that question.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and Maria, your answer might not match up with what most people's answers are.
Yeah, I think that's very true. And actually, a couple of weeks ago even, or whenever Uro got banned, I might not have said I was looking forward to this tournament because I was just assuming everything was going to be all Omnath. But you know what? Now going into this tournament, I'm not sure that's going to be the case.
Yeah, I think it is definitely on the top of a lot of people's minds, whether standard and even historic is just going to be a playground for, that little sloopy boy.
Yeah, is it going to be all Omnath all the time, or are we going to see some deck diversity? Remains to be seen, but that tournament coming up this weekend, so we're going to give you a full preview, including who we both think is going to win the tournament. That's the return of our famous sock bet.
That's right, Maria. I need some new socks. I always need new socks, if we're being honest.
Look,
I think I put holes in my socks at like an above average rate.
Really? Why are your toes pointy?
That's what I think, right? Like that's the only possible answer is that like either my toes are very pointy or I like aggressively push my foot forward when I walk. Like maybe I have like some aggressive forward motion in my feet. I don't know.
I don't know. We'll have to, I'm not there to double check, but we'll have to have a medical expert take a look at your feet and
at my feet and my walking pattern.
Evaluate what's going on there.
Oh, yes. You have what we call in the medical profession pointy toes.
In case you're not familiar with our sock bet, what it is pretty self-explanatory. Whoever is correct at whoever gets the person who finishes the highest, even if they don't win, will have to buy the other person. The loser has to buy the winner of this sock bet some great socks. They can't just be normal socks. They have to be really good socks.
You cannot go and get a package of,
Hanes.
Hanes White Crew socks.
No, not going to cut it.
Not going to cut it.
Marshall Sutcliffe famously won this with a called shot of Huey Jensen for the World Championship a couple of years ago.
Ooh, Maria, you say a couple of years ago? I'm going to blow your mind. That was like 2017.
Was it really?
Yes.
Time has no meaning. But
maybe it was 2018? No, I think it was 2017. I think it was 2017.
I'm looking it up right now.
I think it was 2017.
2017? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because 2017 is Huey, 2018 is Javier, and 2019 is Paolo.
Yep, you're right. Wow, 2017. Holy cow. Okay, that seems like that happened yesterday.
Anyways.
But what I'm trying to say is Marshall cold called that. He said he was going to win. Yes. It's not even close. And he was right. And we all got him some beautiful socks, which I still am so proud of the socks I found for him.
Yeah, we got some really nice socks for him.
So I've got high sock hopes, you know?
Yeah. So do I.
But before we do any sock betting or calling of what standard decks we're going to see, we're going to say thank you to everybody out there who's a supporter of our show over on patreon.com/GLHF Magic. I'm so thankful that we have so many wonderful members of our community and that we can be your companions through whatever you're doing while you listen to our show. If you're commuting to your job that you still have to go to, if you're working from home, if you're just doing the dishes, if you're hanging out petting your cat while you listen through its mouth, we're just so happy to have you in our club.
Yeah. Hopefully during this time when it can be difficult to delineate different times.
Oh, yeah.
Like, right? It's so hard for me at home, I've realized, I'm so thankful for The Office, which patrons make possible.
Yes.
Like, we're able to have a studio because of you. And I'm so thankful for a place to go and work, because sitting at home trying to work is a nightmare.
It's so hard.
My brain is just like, what do I do here? What is this place? What time is it?
It all just blends together.
Yes. We always live in the living room.
Right?
So yeah, and hopefully we can help you, like pass a little time, mark the passage of time. A little bit.
Yeah. So just go over there, become a patron. It takes just a couple of minutes, patreon.com/GLHF Magic, and you get a bunch of awesome benefits. Plus you get to support something you really care about, hopefully. So thank you once again.
Yes. Thank you as well to our sponsor, Card Kingdom, cardkingdom.com/GLHF. And excellent place to go for all of your Magic needs. You need boosters, you need singles, you need commanders. Go over to Card Kingdom and get them. The release of Commander Legends has been pushed to November 20th, but if you want to get that stuff on November 20th, if you want to get those sick new Commander Legends decks to battle with your friends, get them from Card Kingdom, because they will get them to you as fast as is humanly possible. And they're just a wonderful set of people that support the community in so many different ways.
Yeah, we love Card Kingdom here. Everything about them as a company is amazing. And just like you should we always talk about on this show, voting with your dollars or whatever, and Card Kingdom is, I think, just wonderfully emblematic of why that's important, because they're just such a great company top to bottom, and they really truly love their customers and their employees, and they treat everybody with respect and so well, and all of their community partners like us. So we are so proud to be a member of the Card Kingdom family, and if you buy from them, you'll feel so proud that you use them too, because everything will just be perfect for you. Your order, your customer service, and the products they sell. So
great.
All great. Okay, friends, it's time to talk about the 2020 season grand finals coming up this weekend. This is the be-all, end-all of everything that's been happening so far in this weird, bizarre 2020-2019 Magic season.
That's right. So this is, instead of having a world championship this year, because it was only a partial season thanks to COVID, they instead are having these 2020 season grand finals. There is $250,000 on the line. First place takes home $25,000 of that prize pool. Yeah,
this is a pretty stacked tournament as well. The way you qualified for this tournament was very, very difficult. You had to become one of the top 16 players in the Players Tour Finals, which, as we know, is a bunch of different tournaments leading up to getting to the Players Tour Finals. So you had to be in the top 16 in that tournament, or in the top 16 of the Mythic Invitational, which was the last tournament we just held that Seth Manfield won. So that's exclusive list.
Yeah, very, very cool. There are just a ton of great players in this.
Absolutely. Taking a look at who qualified for this tournament from the Players Tour Finals, Christoph Prince, he was the winner of the Players Tour Finals. He, of course, has qualified for this. And then you're going to see the people, if you remember that tournament, it was kind of cool. Riku Kumagai was playing that mono black aggro deck, and he almost took the whole thing down.
Yes. Michael Jacob had that
Mardu
Winota deck.
Yes.
Which was really cool. Alan Wu, who has just been kind of consistently really finishing well in the last couple of months.
Yeah.
I mean, for a while, right? He was part of that winning team at Pro Tour 25th anniversary.
Yes.
In the legacy seat, where he super impressed everybody with his play, and just continuing to be an excellent player.
Yeah, just winning a couple of Grand Prix back to back as well, and just basically top 8ing almost every single one that he played. So excited to see him there.
Yeah, Christopher Larson, who's been a pro on the scene for a long while now. I feel like he's like in and out, of the top ranks up there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, same for Ben Weitz, who's going to be there.
Raphael Levy from the Hall of Fame. Piotr Glogowski, Canister, very popular streamer. In this top 16, also Autumn Burchett.
I heard that Autumn, Emma, Piotr, and I want to say like Luis Salvato.
Yes.
Like teamed up together.
Yeah, they're on a testing team. And this is the one to have your eyes on because these are like the up and comers in Magic.
What a spooky, you call them up and comers, and there's 2 different Mythic Championship winners and a Player of the Year.
True. That is true. But they are kind of like the new kids on the block, like coming in, shaking things up. Don't you just get that feeling from them?
I mean, I guess like Piotr always has the aura of like the punk kid on the block who's
that's
just
true.
like, hey guys,
I'm here and I'm gonna win your tournament. Yeah, totally. I'm definitely looking out for this team. I'm super interested to see what they play. And Piotr is known for being a really good deck builder too. So maybe they come up with something as a team that's kind of off the radar of these other people in this tournament.
Yeah, I think that could be super cool. And just like we said, like what a great set of 4 players that are all putting their big magic brains together.
I thought you were going to say butts.
They're putting their big magic butts together. I don't know why I would be compelled to say that.
I don't know. I'm just always thinking it. Seth Manfield is double qualified for this tournament, by the way, here in the top 16 of the Players Tour Finals and also the champion of the last Mythic Invitational. So the only player who is double qualified, but he is.
And I mean, if you're picking a player, like I'm not picking yet.
Okay.
But I'm just saying this kind of feels a little bit like, going into the World Championship that happened in February. In retrospect, I regret not picking Paolo as my winner for that because Paolo was on just like a tear leading up to that. Like one of the best players of all time and on a tear. Obviously, he's going to win it.
Yeah, and also being an extremely good and decorated player in a small field is better than people think it is.
Absolutely. And Seth Manfield, I feel like kind of has some of the same vibe going into this. Like you said, he's the only person, he got 12th at this Players Tour Finals, and then he won the Mythic Invitational.
Yep, exactly.
He's already a member of the Hall of Fame.
And he's, I think, arguably one of the best players playing right now. If you saw any of that coverage from that Mythic Invitational, some of the plays he made are plays that nobody else would have made. He was just so intelligent with some things he did that snatched a win from the jaws of defeat. It was kind of mind-blowing to watch. So
yeah, it was really cool.
I'm feeling a Seth Manfield mood right now.
Ooh, Maria, I already said it first.
We both can't pick Seth Manfield,
it's
Megan.
True. We can't.
But I will say this, in the official article that's coming out about this tournament, they had the casters pick somebody to win, and I did pick Seth Manfield.
Classic.
But I think half of the casters picked Seth Manfield.
I'm pretty sure that makes a lot of sense.
Also in this crew is Ivan Flock, who you really love, Megan.
I was about to say, one of my favorite players, Ivan Flock, a Slovakian player who won a pro tour a little ways back now, which is so weird.
Yeah.
But with the infamous no win con control deck, blue-white control, in the days of Nyx Fleek's RAM.
I know. And Ivan's such a nice guy too. And he's just very quiet, but he's very funny. And there is a control deck that's kind of peeking in on our standard format. So maybe it'll be up his alley.
Tell me more about that.
I will.
I'm into it.
Let's take a look here now at the Mythic Invitational invites. So this will be the top 16 players who qualified through that. It actually goes down to the top 17 players because of our friend Seth Manfield's double qualification. Yep. But we've also
got Luis
huge
Salvato,
names.
as already mentioned. Emma Handy, as already mentioned, pairing up with Autumn Burchett and Piotr Glogowski from those players to our finals invites.
Hello, we've got Grzegorz Kowalski on this list. We've got Gabriel Nassif, the Hall of Famer, on this list. Matt Nass, Ken Yukihiro, Luis Scott Vargas, another Hall of Famer. Are you kidding me?
Brad Nelson, like often considered one of the best standard players of all time.
Unbelievable. Aaron Gertler is an up-and-coming arena player who took down, if you remember this from the before times, the DreamHack series. He was playing...
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was playing the Adventures deck. He basically found the Adventures deck, right? Or was the first player to at least popularize it. I can't remember if he invented it. I kind of want to say that he did, but... He was ranked number 1 on Arena, and then he took down that DreamHack tournament with the Adventures deck. Yes. And now we're seeing various iterations of Adventures doing really well in Standard.
Ooh, all right.
So I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Another player I want to point out here too, though, is don't sleep on Montserrat Ayensa, who goes by High Banana Fish on Twitter. She's an absolutely incredible player, and she qualified for 2 of these Mythic Invitational, Mythic Championship deals the hard way. So like I've definitely got my eye on her as well.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Like, so some real top-notch players up in here.
Oh yeah, big time.
Up in here, you know.
So like Meghan.
Yeah.
Who's going to win?
If you're giving me first pick, Maria, like I'm gonna take Seth Manfield.
That's okay. I took Seth in another pool, so you know it's kind of like I also already chose him.
You're cheating on me. And the sock bet?
Well, I'm just saying, if I lose the sock bet because you chose Seth Manfield and you won, it's kind of like like I chose him. You know what I mean?
All right. Well, if anyone wants to start a side pool with me, since Maria already has one, you can tweet at good luck at GLHF Magic with the hashtag Maria's Betrayal. And just tell me who you think is going to win.
Oh my gosh. Now I have to pick somebody else though.
Yes.
This is impossible.
There's like some excellent names on here. I feel like Piotr, great choice. Luis Salvato, great choice. Autumn, great choice. Gabe Nassif, great choice.
Wow. Part of me actually wants to pick Aaron Gertler because of what I just told you. Mm-hmm. Because Adventures, either Omnath or non-Omnath, is a pretty good deck right now. And he does play a heck of a ton of Arena.
Yeah.
But I could equally just choose like LSV, who's just always good. And this is a smaller tournament. And he did pretty well here at the Mythic Invitational, coming in 7th. Gosh, it's really a toss-up. Okay, I'm gonna go with a bit of a dark horse. I'm gonna say Aaron Gertler plays a lot of Arena, likes to play these adventure decks. Adventure deck is good right now. Yeah, lock it in.
I like it. I like that we have like a classic choice and a dark horse choice.
Yeah,
that's always good. That's
just
where you
like
want to
chocolate.
be. A classic choice and a dark horse chocolate. Anyways, do you know what? In that case, we would be swapped because you're a milk chocolate gal.
Yes.
I'm a dark chocolate pony.
I remember, I think I tweeted like a poll about this a million years ago, which is which chocolate do you like, white, dark, or milk? And I want to say that milk came in dead last. Magic players like dark chocolate. I think probably because a lot of them aren't American, but
milk chocolate is gross.
Whoa! You think it's gross? Hold on. You think it's just straight up gross?
I think like a square of milk chocolate is gross.
What? But a Reese's egg is made with milk chocolate.
You heard me. What?
Reese's eggs are made with milk chocolate.
I know. That's why I said like a square of milk chocolate. Like I can appreciate it as like a coating on a Reese's. I can appreciate it on a s'mores. But if it is not paired with something else, it is gross.
I'm just in shock. I'm straight up in shock right now.
I said it. You think dark chocolate is gross?
Yes, I do.
Well, there you go.
It's true. I think I'm a bitter super taster. I want to test it out, but I don't like anything bitter. So like
that would make sense. Like you don't like beer at all because like hops can be kind of bitter, I think.
Don't like coffee at all because it's bitter.
Yeah, because it's bitter.
Anyway.
Ooh, I love things that are bitter now that I think about it. Like I love coffee.
It's interesting.
I love dark chocolate. Oh yeah, man. Anyways.
The human tongue is a mystery to us all.
Except dentists?
Do you think dentists know the most about tongues?
That's what I was about to ask. What kind of doctor or dentist knows the most about tongues? Like, is there a doctor who does
ear, nose, and throat doctor?
Oh, there we go. That's probably it.
Do they know more than a dentist though? About
a tongue? Because the tongue isn't in your ear.
Not always.
No. You're right.
Okay, if you out there in listener land know who knows the most about tongues in the medical profession, please tweet at GLHF Magic with the hashtag tongue science.
All right. Anyways.
Magic. Let's talk about standard. The format is standard and historic, so it's split format, which is pretty cool. Looking forward to that. Standard decks. Let's talk first things first about the giant ooze in the room. How good is Omnath going to be? Is it going to be dominant?
It is the question on everybody's minds, and the most recent set of data that we have from a big tournament is the CFB Clash qualifier that happened this weekend, which had a little over 400 players in it. And 10 of the top 16 decks in there were Omnath decks, Maria.
Wow. That
5 of the top 8 were Omnath.
That is honestly more than I kind of think I would have expected, given what I'm running into playing on the ladder. But that's not, the same as a tournament. But geez, it seems Omnath is still king of the jungle here.
Yes, he absolutely is. He's king of the forests, the mountains, the plains, and the islands.
Yep. Turns out not that hard to cast a 4-color creature in standard right now.
No, it absolutely is not, right? Because Omnath Adventures is one of the big ones, right? There's 4-color Omnath and there's Omnath Adventures are kind of like the two big things running around. And you've just got stuff like you have Beanstalk Giant, which just goes and gets you, a basic land of any kind.
Hold up, let's talk about the fact that it's going to get you 2 basic lands because you already played your Lucky Clover.
Nope. Do you know what? You're right. Yep. So 4 Lucky Clover, obviously, you've got this down, and the next thing you're going to go get 2 basics, so you don't even care.
You don't even care.
Maria, you don't even care.
Yeah, playing against this deck a number of times, because I'm not going to play it. Look, I'm not a monster. What I noticed is that the Lucky Clover version or the Adventures version of this deck is better than the traditional one. And that's because it just has more tools at its disposal and ways to win the game thanks to Lucky Clover and playing these adventure cards like Fate. You get to play Fate of Wishes, right?
Adventure has always been like the Adventures decks with Lucky Clover have always been those kinds of things. Like once the ball gets rolling down the hill, you're going to get crushed by it.
Yeah, you can't stop it.
You have to win before it even starts rolling or else you're done for.
It's so true. I was just whining about this deck, and the fact that Clover costs 2 is like really, really tough to deal with because you can never counter it.
No, it's so early. It's just like if they're on the play,
you just can't.
You have played a land, the end.
Yep, the end.
Like that's what you've done.
That's it. You can't.
There's nothing you can do about it.
Nothing you can do about it, and the card makes this deck completely busted. And if it costs 3, I wouldn't be here whining at you because at least you could counter it, but you just can't. So there you go.
I know. And I will say, so I do love that this deck plays a card that I think kind of felt like this weird outlier or like something that you would not have expected to be making a splash in standard, which is Escape to the Wilds.
Yeah. And this is really why the deck shines, honestly.
Yes, exactly. Like, it's a very good card in this deck, and I do love that about it. This is 3 red and green for a sorcery. Exile the top 5 cards of your library. You may play cards exiled this way until the end of your next turn. You may play an additional land this turn.
So a lot of times what will happen in these decks, despite the fact that there's so much card draw thanks to cards like Edgewall Innkeeper and, like I said, Lucky Clover enabling you to double up some of the stuff that you wouldn't normally be able to double, like Beanstalk Giant, or rather Fertile Footsteps, if you will.
Oh, yeah.
But Escape to the Wilds is just like, even if I happen to run out in the unlikely case, I can
5 cards.
Boom.
You're going to draw 5 cards.
Yep. It's just, this deck is solid. It works on all different kinds of levels. It's so good. It's playing 2 copies of the new Felidar Retreat from Zendikar Rising 2, which is really cool.
Which, like, is almost, like, it's so close. Between that and Escape to the Wild, it's like you almost want to forgive it.
Yeah. No, truly, you do. I mean, it's cool.
I want to see a Felidar Retreat deck in Standard.
Absolutely.
Like, I want to see that. Exactly. Like, I want to see this silly little landfall enchantment that's obviously like a bomb in Limited.
Yes.
But so many things that are a bomb in Limited, it doesn't even matter in Standard.
Right.
But this card is just like, let's do a ton of things.
I can't be mad also because Lucky Clover is such a cool card. Like,
it is a cool card.
I played a Green-Black Adventures deck that used Lucky Clover that was really fun back in the day that Chris Kavartek had been running at a Mythic Championship. And it's a really awesome card. I can't be mad at it for that. The only reason I'm mad at this deck is because it's so powerful and it has so many tools at its disposal that it feels a little bit like it's cheating.
Yes, it feels mean.
It feels like it's got all the candy in the candy jar and you just are left holding some lutefisk because what doesn't it do?
What a Minnesotan what a Minnesotan thing to say.
Truly.
Everyone out there is like, what's a lutefisk?
Oh, it's cod soaked in lye. It's awful.
I'm really glad we let everyone know about it.
There you go.
Well, you were wondering what it was. Now you know. There's also, of course, the 4-color Omnath deck.
Yes.
Which has things like 4 copies of Lotus Cobra to help ramp you. It's got some stuff like Cultivate. Again, like, you don't want to be mad at it because this deck is playing Genesis Ultimatum.
Yeah, right?
Like, I don't want to be mad at a deck playing Genesis Ultimatum.
It seems almost absurd that a deck playing a card like Genesis Ultimatum, which is absolutely just like, that's in Standard?
Like, hey, guess what, Maria? I'm going to tell you something. And you're going to, like, if I was like a couple of months ago, I was like, hey, Maria, a 7-mana sorcery is going to be one of the hits of Standard. You'd be like, shut up and go away.
I would not believe you. That's for sure.
Absolutely you wouldn't.
No way. But people play this.
Exactly. Also playing Felidar Retreat. You're like, I don't want to be mad at you.
Why do you make me be mad at you, Omnath? Why?
But like, I've played like, and you got to respect it, right? When someone has a Lotus Cobra, and by respect it, I mean be so mad.
Kill it.
When someone plays a Lotus Cobra and then goes like Fabled Passage, make a mana, crack the Fabled Passage, get a land, make another mana, and you're like, why?
Why?
Why are things like this?
The good news is that there are decks popping up on the horizon that have favorable matchups, in my opinion, against these Omnath decks.
And Maria, you have been playing one of these quite a bit.
Yes, I sure have. I've been playing Dimir Rogues, everybody.
Yeah.
Blue and black mana playing counter spells. Moi. Yes, because this deck is so fun to play. If you haven't, it's probably a miserable to play against, but whatever. It's really fun to play because you have such interesting decisions.
Did you just say whatever to it being miserable to play against?
I sure did.
As though you have not given me literal years of grief.
I don't think it's as bad as a control deck. Let me put it that way.
Sure.
It's not that miserable. It's because it does play creatures. There's creatures in this deck.
Okay. Sure. It's all fine and well when you're doing it.
I do love the small creatures in this deck, which is one of the reasons that I think I am drawn to it. It can play a little tempo game if you get the right draw. It's got really interesting cards, and in case you're not aware, you're doing a couple of different things, which is milling your opponent with cards like Thieves Guild Enforcer, Merfolk Windrobber, and Soaring Thought Thief, which are also teeny little creatures that you play early on, and you can attack in for teeny little bits of damage. And the reason you're filling their graveyard up is for benefits like Drown in the Loch, which can counter or kill anything based on how many cards they've got in their graveyard. And in the case of the winning deck from the CFB Clash qualifier this past weekend, 3 copies of Into the Story, which is just kind of wild, which is 5 blue, 7 mana, instant. This spell costs 3 less to cast if an opponent has 7 or more cards in their graveyard. Draw 4 cards.
Yes.
Pretty cool.
Yes.
But my personal favorite thing to do in this deck is to play ninjutsu with a Zareth San the Trickster.
Yes, this is ninjutsu without the actual text on it.
Yes, it is ninjutsu, but it doesn't say that on the card. Basically, you attack with a rogue. If it's not blocked, you can ninjutsu in Jareth. The owl. You can ninjutsu in Zareth San, and Zareth San will hit them unless they can do something about it. And then you can do it to put a creature or a permanent from their graveyard onto the battlefield under your control.
Spicy.
I've stolen a Eugene, okay?
Maria. Wow.
It was
how could you?
So fun. Because you can do it on turn 4. And then you're like, I have a Eugene in play on turn 4.
And like, what are you going to do about it?
Go.
Yep. That's pretty spicy. I'll give you that.
So this version of the winning deck did not have any ruin crabs in the main deck, which is something that some people had put in to like mill the opponent even more quickly, which is fun, but you don't win by milling very often. It does happen, but it's not generally how you win the game. This put those in the sideboard, which I thought was really interesting. But this is what I wanted to bring up with this deck. I do actually think that this deck has a pretty good matchup, if not great matchup, against 4-color Omnath.
I have heard that. I have heard that Rogues is the way to go if you are hitting an Omnath-heavy metagame.
Yes. I don't think it's as strong against the Clover one for the reasons we talked about just a minute ago, but
sometimes that boulder is rolling.
Sometimes you can't stop the boulder.
All you can do is get squished.
Yeah. But against Omnath, I do think what you want to do is play Rogues. That being said, if you're playing Rogues, we're gonna go next level. We're going Galaxy Brain all the way here.
That's true.
What are you gonna do?
I do just want to say really quickly, I do love that it's not super often that you get a tempo deck in Standard.
Yes, that is 100%
and that
true.
Is absolutely what this is, because once you get down your cheap creatures, you're just like, you're tempoing them, you're trying to steal their permanents with Zareth, and then you're using things like Heartless Act, Drown in the Loch, Lofty Denial to just keep them from doing anything.
Exactly.
While you chip away.
So fun.
Yeah.
And Brazenbauer or whatever.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is like, this is a question for this tournament. How Galaxy Brain are we going here? Are we just like, Omnath's the best deck, I'm just going to play that. Well, I'm going to play the deck that beats the best deck, which is Rogues. Well, I'm going to play the best deck that beats Rogues. So then I'm going to play Mono Green Aggro, or this new one I've been seeing pop up, Rakdos Midrange.
Yes, you were telling me about this. So Mono Green Aggro, we have actually seen around for a while.
Yes, we have.
But it has some new, some new fun tools.
New toys.
Yes.
So Swarm Shambler shows up in this, which is the little buddy that can just grow itself forever. Oran Reef Ooze attacks and grows itself once again. But basically it's your just general, you're playing green fatties and you're smashing in, which basically just really, really beats up on Dimir Rogues, because a lot of your fatties have reach, like Stone Coil Serpent and Gem Razor.
Yep. And just like rude. Stonecoil Serpent also has protection from multicolored.
Yes.
So many of those rogues are multicolored.
And
like,
Drown in the Loch is like, oh, just kidding.
Oh no.
I can't kill you. I can counter you, but whatever. But yeah, I think that's a very strong deck to beat Rogues if that's what you want to do. But Megan, look at this Croxa Rakdos mid-range deck here.
Ooh, Maria, I am, and I like what I see here.
This deck destroyed me a number of times on the ladder. It's just plain old rude. is what it is.
That's what this deck is. I agree. And do you know what? Sometimes when everyone is being mean, you gotta be rude.
I mean, seriously, the deal with this deck is it basically tries to tear apart your hand, kill absolutely anything that you're trying to, any creature you're trying to put into play, make you sacrifice the creatures you managed to get into play, and then do it all again by escaping Kroxa and making you discard and dealing 3 damage to you and blah, blah, blah. It basically is like, take your stuff away, throw it into the garbage, kill anything that you manage to play, and then attack you with Kroxa. You're dead.
I like throw it into the garbage. Just put it in the garbage. You want to play that card? Sorry. Put it in the garbage.
Put it in the trash. Yeah.
Put it in the trash.
I played against this deck notably the other day. It also runs 4 copies of Tiamat Calls the Dead, which is that saga, if you remember, which I loved in an enchantment deck back in the day. And I was like, oh, haha, joke's on them. They're milling themselves with this, exactly, playing into my plans. But it doesn't matter.
Excuse me.
Bless the mouse who just sneezed in the office. but they're just going to get their Kroxa back sooner. It's
yeah. It's true.
It's really a sad story.
I'm into this right now, you know? Like, I think right now it's a time for being mean.
The time for being mean.
Yeah.
Can I tell you a standard story?
Yes.
Can I do a standard story time? So
yeah.
I've actually been having a lot of fun playing these rogues decks in standard and trying to climb the ladder. And the other day, I just want to talk about, this is like my therapy, my magic therapy session, about something I've identified that I do, and I do it anyway, my self-destructive behavior. So,
all right.
I was playing my standard rogues decks, and I was playing the crab version where you've got the little crab in there. And I basically had the win. I knew I had the win, despite the fact that they had resolved a Eugene, and they had gone and fetched up a fling from their sideboard with their Fae of Wishes, and I negated that, and I was like, haha, I've got you now. And I had 2 in hand, 2 Soaring Thought Thieves that would have attacked as 3/3s. I could flash them in, end of turn, smack them dead for Exacxies. And I was like, this is great. There's nothing they can do. They went to their attack step and attacked with 2 1/1s that they made from Lovestruck Beast. And I was like, look at those little 1/1s. I could flash in my rogues and block them. Wouldn't that be so satisfying just to eat both of their little tokens? And I'm like, well, Maria, here's the problem with that. They have a Lucky Clover in play, and they could potentially have 1 copy of Bone Crusher Giant left, and then they could kill both of your dudes after you block. And I was like, yeah, that's true, brain, but flash them in, block, boom, they're both killed. Bone Crusher Giant, you dead. They win the match, snatched it from me. And I was just like, this is not the first time that I knew what I had to do to win the game, and I didn't do it because I was like, wouldn't it be so delicious to do this other thing?
Yeah. Did they snatch it from you, or did you snatch it from yourself?
I snatched it from myself, everybody. Yeah. I snatched it from myself.
How does that make you feel?
I was so mad at me. I was like, you literally knew. You thought in your brain, if they have Bone Crusher Giant, this plan doesn't work. So good job. Yeah. I identified how my win is destroyed, and I still did it anyway.
I mean, yup.
That's just a small side note. Anyway.
I mean, I definitely feel like we've all been in that spot. I've certainly been in that spot.
Why did I do it?
You're just like, I can feel it in my bones. But for some reason, you ignore your bones. Never ignore your bones.
Don't ignore your bones.
No, they're what holds up the rest of you.
It's so true.
I mean, right?
Speaking of ignoring your bones, I was in this musical, like the songwriting workshop this past weekend, and somebody in it was like, sorry if I'm out of it. I'm on a lot of painkillers because like I just moved, and I thought my legs had been sore for a couple of days, and I went to the doctor, and turns out both of my legs had been broken. But I didn't know.
What?
Yes. I was like horrified. Like, how is that possible? It probably wasn't a full break or whatever, but My God.
That's horrifying.
Yes. Secret broken legs.
What a nightmare.
I know. It was a revelation.
What part of their legs were broken?
I don't know. I didn't ask. It was during the introduction portion when everyone is somehow oversharing.
I mean, yes, unfortunately, I do know that.
Oh my God. Anyway.
Wow. Oh my God.
Those are my votes for decks that we're going to see the most of in this tournament.
I like that. There was a mono red aggro in the top 8 of that event.
Yeah, never
I hope
dies.
you don't see it. I know.
It's just always somehow there.
Exactly. It just still has all the dumb stuff that it does.
Still has all these dumb stuffs.
Exactly. Embercleave still goes beep beep.
I had been playing on the ladder a kind of cute white-black clerics deck, which I just wanted to quick point out because it was like a life gain cleric-y thing. It wasn't very, competitive. I don't think it's particularly good or anything like that, but it is really fun to play through gold if you're there on the ladder or lower.
Yeah.
You'll still do okay with it. Yeah, so that's my vote for hold on, I've got to find my list. I want to tell you the exact list that I was playing.
Oh,
One second.
Hear this exact list.
1 second. I'm launching Arena right now. Arena is being launched. Because you know what? Sometimes it's not always about getting those W's. Sometimes you just want to have a good old time or challenge your friend or something like that. And you want to play a unique deck that's not one of the top meta decks or, something like that. Have you been playing Standard, Megan, or have you just been in Draft Town?
Oh my goodness, I just draft all the time. Maria, I can't stop. I can't stop drafting. I like it so much.
It's such a good set to draft.
It's such a good set to draft. And I love all of them. Last week, after we talked about all of the draft archetypes, if you missed that episode and you're wondering about what draft archetypes are happening in Zendikar, go listen to it. But I was I had to try out red white warriors right away.
Yep.
I had to try out green black counters.
Absolutely.
I had a great time with both of them. I don't think I did stellar, but it was the first time I drafted either of those archetypes. I think I got at least 3 wins, so I got at least 1,000 gems back out of it.
Oh, good.
And maybe more, probably more, I think, actually. And yeah, I can't stop drafting long enough to play Standard.
Well, I found the deck. Here it is. It's built around cards like Cleric of Lifespawn. Do you remember this new friend? It's a 2/2. You play it in your Cleric's deck. Obviously, you slam it if you're playing Draft.
Yeah.
Whenever another cleric enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. Whenever you gain life for the first time each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Cleric of Life's Bond. So you've got a lot of clerics in here, like Luminarch Aspirant. That's the 1/1 that puts a +1/+1 counter on something at the beginning of combat on your turn. You've got Speaker of the Heavens, which is the 1/1 with Vigilance and Lifelink, where you can tap it to create a 4/4 White Angel token if you have at least 7 more life than your starting life total. Archfiend's Vessel, which is the 1/1 lifelinker that when you bring it back from the dead, if you're not casting it, it comes back as a 5/5 demon. And you do cool stuff with Null Priest of Oblivion, which if you kick it, it gets something back from the graveyard, or Aghanim's Awakening, that cool modal double face card that gets stuff back from the graveyard that way. Malakir Rebirth, which is another one of those double face cards that when something dies, it just brings it back. It's just such a cool deck. It also plays Veto, Thorn of the Dusk Rose, which I love vampires. And this is the one where you can play 3 black to gain lifelink for your creatures till end of turn.
Yeah.
And whenever you gain life, your opponent loses that much life. So it's just can get a win kind of out of nowhere. If you veto in play and they're anywhere close to dead, you can just attack. And even if everything dies, it doesn't matter because you're just going to kill them.
I like this list. This sounds spicy.
It is super, super fun. And if you're watching the video version, you'll see a picture of the deck on your screen. So if you want to see that, just head over to our YouTube channel, everybody listening at home. But yeah, I do love that deck. It's been really fun. It's just not quite good enough, which is a little bit sad for me. But, at least I can admit it, okay?
Well, maybe if something shakes up Standard.
Maybe if there's another ban, is that what you're saying?
Oh my! I was talking to a friend who doesn't play Magic the other day, just about Magic in general, and I was like, oh, like Standard just got shaken up, like they banned this card, and they were like, oh, is that something that like happens often? And I was like, a year and a half ago, the answer would have been no.
You know what?
It's not. And right now, the answer is absolutely yes. It happens all the time.
Yeah, you're right. Gosh.
Ooh, yep.
That's a whole nother story, though.
Fun.
So very fun. Two other decks I just want to quickly mention in Standard are Is It Tempo, which is another tempo-based strategy, which we've seen a lot of Is It Tempo decks that have involved various Phoenix over the years. Phoenixin. You get this one has little Sprite Dragon and Stormwing Entity, which you can play out super early. Brazen Borrower, the Royal Scions are here as your Planeswalker. A super fun deck that is just not quite competitive. And the same thing would go for Winota. Winota's still running around, putting things into play, cheating into play. Basri's Lieutenant is now one of the famous cards that Winota's cheating in, which is pretty cool. And those ones are, like I said, tier 3 or whatever. They're down the list a little bit further, but they're still pretty cool if you're looking for something that's a little bit different.
Absolutely. I think especially like, that Winota deck was so cool when it won the players, not when it won, but when it top 8'd the Players Tour finals.
Oh yeah, totally.
That one was Mardu, but that was the time when I was like, oh, Basri's Lieutenant is like the real deal because it gives you stuff like if your creatures die. If creatures with counters die, you get knights back.
And you're okay. You're still totally fine.
Now I'm fine. Yeah.
So we're not just playing Standard in this tournament. We're also playing Historic. And
yes, that's right.
I've been up to my neck in Standard, so I haven't played a lot of Historic. Megan's been up to her neck drafting, hasn't played a lot of Historic. But the big question, I think, is the same as for Standard. Is Omnath still going to dominate in Historic?
Yeah. And like some people, right, you were saying Gabe Nassif, I think, was like, yes.
Yeah, so Channel Fireball tweeted out this deck list from Gabriel Nassif, like that was Omnath ramp in Historic. It's basically Standard with a few cards that are just better than what you can play in Standard because it's Historic. So will that be the nightmare we live through? The good news is it's not the most rounds in the tournament if that happens to be the case.
I mean, but then all the rounds are Omnath. I
mean, that could happen.
But then it's Omnath all day.
And P.S. Uro's not banned in Historic, so that's still in the deck.
Why?
All I hope is that this is not our life this weekend. I don't think it will be, but
I really hope so. And I guess there is something to be said for the fact that like things will be right. Like there is some amount of question.
Yes.
About how this metagame, which is a little rock, paper, scissors-y, is going to play out.
Right. So I mean, the last Historic championship, which was the last Mythic Invitational, Seth Manfield won with Sultai mid-range. So we'll see if that deck's still on the top. Goblins didn't do so well, despite being more than 30% of the field. We still have
one copy of that in the top 8.
We still have got the Cauldron Familiar deck happening in Historic, if you remember that from Standard.
Sacrifice decks.
Yes, who could forget? Mono Black God Pharaoh's Gift that Matt Nass played. Perhaps that's still a thing.
Ooh, I've been playing that in Historic sometimes.
Oh, yeah?
And it is very fun.
It does seem up your alley.
It's a really good time. Like it's a great time. You fill up your graveyard really fast. There have been times when I think I've gotten a God Pharaoh's Gift into play on like turn 4.
Ooh, sick.
It's really cool. I'm a big fan.
So yeah, that'll be happening all this weekend. Standard, Historic, we're kind of setting the bar once again as to what the best decks are and what we're going to try and beat moving forward. The way it's going to work is the first 3 rounds of the day actually are going to be Historic, and then we're going to move into Standard, and then in the top 8 it's going to be all Standard. So it's the same format day 1 and 2, but then top 8 all Standard all the time.
You can so make your own guesses. Again, tweet at us with the hashtag Maria's Betrayal. If you want to tell us who you think is going to take it all down this weekend.
But don't forget the hashtag tongue science, because we also need to learn about that.
We also need to know which doctor is the most knowledgeable, I guess. Or it's your dentist. Anyways.
Everything's going to kick off on Friday, October 9th at 9 a.m. Pacific time. And that is true for Saturday and Sunday, both days, yep. All 3 days, starting at 9 a.m. And pretty neat stuff. We'll see you there, everybody.
Before we go, Ultra Pro has sent us some sick new stuff that they've got. We have the Godzilla sleeves from Ikoria.
Oh, they're so cool.
They're so cool. They look great. I love them. He a big monster.
You know what? Turns out Godzilla, big monster.
Godzilla. You know what they say about Godzilla? He a big monster.
I think it's so cool. The Japanese like writing on there too.
Mm-hmm. So if you're into that, you got those guys. They also have now a gloss version of their Eclipse sleeves.
Oh, those are great.
So yeah, if you prefer gloss over matte, but you still want those sleeves that, remember when Judge Rob was on, he was like, we've never had a problem with these with double face cards.
That's right.
Which you cannot say about so many kinds of sleeves. But the Eclipses, if you need something that you know your DFCs are not going to show through, the Eclipse sleeves, always great. And now they've got them in some nice glosses.
Awesome.
Oh, and they finally sent us more gravity dice.
Yay, more gravity dice.
Our favorite dices.
I like to call them space dice because that's what the astronauts would use if they needed them in space.
Yeah, it really does feel that way. Like they come in this beautiful little like magnetic clippy container. They're so like they're like heavy. They've got a nice heft to them.
Good heft.
They really feel like you could sip a glass of scotch in one hand and roll your dice with the other.
Now you've got me interested.
Yeah. So Ultra Pro, we're always so happy to have them as a sponsor of the show. And just like some great products for all your magic life.
Well, lovely human beings, that is this episode of Good Luck High Five. Thank you so much once again for hanging out with us for an awesome hour of entertainment and hopefully some knowledge too in there, specifically about tongues. But you know, if you learn something about magic, that's also
fine
good too.
Yeah. That's also good. Whatever.
And
hopefully Maria will be back in the office next week.
Yes.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. I should get my test results back within, by then. So let's just put it that way. By then. So hopefully they'll be back in and everything will be totally fine. But thank you, everybody.
There's still a pandemic. Keep taking those precautions.
It's so true. Please
still
keep wearing your mask. Don't be like the White House. Be smart. It's just like it's like a circus. It's like a clown car of catastrophe over there right now.
It really is.
But thank you so much, everybody, for being a patron of the show. You can become one if you're not already at patreon.com/GLHF Magic. It's so fun to become a member, and we're so appreciative. Check out Card Kingdom and Ultra Pro for all of your magical needs. And remember, please, no matter what you do, vote this year. Early voting is in action in a lot of places. Mail-in ballots. I just did mine. Thumbs up.
Sick.
So, I'm feeling in the voting mood.
Head out to the polls on November 3rd if you need to. By which I mean you need to if you haven't voted already.
Yeah.
And if you can't vote before then you need to on that day.
Absolutely.
You get what I'm saying.
You understand.
You know.
It's such an important election. And remember to research everybody on the ballot before you go in so you don't panic when you're in there and you're like, oh, I didn't know that was going to be on there. Oh no, what do I do? So yeah, just prepare yourself. Somebody out there knows what to do. If you trust a friend to make those decisions for you, they can help you out too, I'm sure. But just make sure to have all that information going on and then you'll feel prepared as a parrot in a thunderstorm.
What?
It's not a saying.
Nope.